IBC and the government of beginning to profile senior government officers who are thought to have been on the side of Azimio. And Trevor, this thing is happening. There's mob lynching in social media. There are meetings that are taking place to ensure that certain senior civil servants are hounded out of office. And these are things that we have to speak about. And we want to urge our colleagues in government that can they speak what they are doing? Can they be plain and blank and tell us that this is a government that is hell-bent on crucifixion? This government wants to crucify Kenyans. In fact, they want to start beginning to murder Kenyans. I warned Cherargei last time when we were here that in the unlikely event that they win power, one of the things they would do was witch hunt and murder, and I think this is what they are doing. Cherargei, you guys, please give Kenyans a break, because there's so much that Kenyans expect from you to do, other than beginning to profile and to hound innocent civil servants out of office on the pretext that they were supporting Azimio presidential candidate.
Okay, those are very strong terms that we have to withdraw some of them, using terms like murder and all that. But I'll give Cherargei a chance to respond, and Wamatangi as well. Cherargei.
Anyway, I wouldn't want to engage in sideshows because, one, our brothers in Azimio, One Kenya lands are confusing Kenyans. At one instance, they want subsidies to be there. At the other instance, they don't want. And when I just walked in, you were covering a provision of fertilizer in Kisii County, and you could see people have access to the fertilizer because of the short rains. So we must, and even the reason we have drought and famine across the country, I'm told around 4.1 million Kenyans, is because of we are not food secure. And you heard the president saying yesterday in United Generals Assembly address to the wall. And therefore, to get the country moving, to get people, we must ensure we subsidize fertilizer, we ensure we get quality seeds, so that when we are food secure, the inflation that goes up, Trevor, the high cost of living that goes up is because the food is expensive. And we want to ensure Kenyans. On the issue of, I've had my brothers casting serious aspersions on the win. I don't know why they are complaining, yet they had the so-called deep state and the system. The sitting president was supporting them. You have heard they were spending 4 million per day in State House meetings, facilitating, and that is the control of budget report, and it was reported even by media, facilitating Azimio campaigns. I don't know why. As when we went for election, we spoke to the hearts and the minds of Kenyans, we sold our agenda, and for heaven's sake, Trevor, it is only 9 days. Even when you have pregnancy, it does not happen within 24 hours. It takes a full term of 9 months, then you can get a child. So I think the Azimio, although their DNA are naturally wired to oppose, which is good, and I can see they are starting their job with energy, and I want to see this energy on the floor of the House. I hope they will not bring a culture where they work out. The role of opposition is they must oversight, they must stay in the House, and they must oversight there. So I am happy with the enthusiasm for my brother Tandi going into the future. On the issue of IEBC, and I wouldn't want to dwell on that, those are issues of corporate governance. You can't link government to what is happening in IEBC. IEBC is an independent body, just like Judicial Service Commission, just like Parliamentary Service Commission. If IEBC was part of Public Service Commission, I would have agreed. But on this basis, what the reforms and disciplinary actions that are being taken within IEBC, based on the ruling of the Supreme Court, based on how our independent institutions are run, then it shows, by the way, Trevor, that Azimio wanted to rig this election, and they had their people. Why are they are even wailing more than the bereaved. So Atandi should be honest with the nation that the reason they are protesting any decision that is being made by IEBC in terms of putting the House in order, in terms of taking disciplinary action, because we can't, even Royal Media Services where we are, if they want to instigate any form of disciplinary action, including you, Trevor, I'm not saying they should, but if they want, how is it our business as a parliament to come and question the management of Royal Media Services? They can carry within the confines of the law, so long as they don't violate the natural principles of justice. Yeah. So I want to tell my colleagues that, that they are doing very well. So far today in the show, I can see my brother is picking up very well. my good brother here, Mheshimiwa Oundo, which is impressive. My brother Atandi is doing extremely well. And I know wherever Baba is, he must be happy that the gentlemen that I put in parliament are doing. But I hope they'll not just be saying flowery and statements, just sweeping statements on the national media platform. But I would want to see them taking task to take this issue to parliament.
All right.
and do proper oversight. But this casting aspersions and saying the government has done that, I think it should stop. And by the way, to correct, because you've made a strong word, there is no intention of this government to murder anybody. In fact, I want to invite, and you know, the current DCI is a friend of Azimio. I want to invite, and even the current IG, the acting IG Gabo, is a friend of Azimio. Why doesn't he take those allegations and say the government wants to murder so and so? Those are strong statements, and by the way, Atandi is casting aspersions, and he must withdraw. Yeah. And be struck out of the answered of, not the answered, the recordings of this media house, because we can't allow that. But anyway, Trevor, if there are any issues that he wants to report to police, I think he can just walk across here, Kilimani, after the show. I can even give him a car free ride. I can even give a car free ride for him to report here in Kilimani, so that we can investigate.
Wamatangi?
Yes, I think...
on this issue of IBC especially.
Yeah. Trevor, 3 quick things on as I come to that matter on IBC. First, I think it is good to give credit where it's due. We need to give Atandi some credit, because I think he's doing a good job of inducting Oundo, you know, into this
opposition,
into this opposition thing.
Oundo is stalwart.
Only the induction is missing some key principles, you know, because some of those allegations, you know, I've had Atandi started the queue by saying that that the win of the Kenya Kwanza team was not you know, genuine, and then Oundo took it further by saying it was computer generated. You know, so and you know, I would like to caution the gentleman, because now we are past that. You know, we've had a Supreme Court judgment on it. It is important that start respecting also the fact that your electorate went to the ballot, you know, and they cast their ballots, and not unless you are saying that even those people who voted for you, because you had probably more than 6 million votes on your side, where the computers also voted for you on that side. So let's learn now to be magnanimous as we are in victory, and also, you know, be gracious yourselves once you invited that we build the country. So I believe let's not go the way we did in 2017. You know, you remember all these mudslinging, you know, lies and all those kind of things. Let's agree now to build the country. We are past that. Secondly, it's on this issue of witch hunt of civil servants. I think it is important also for us to say to civil servants, it should be an important learning lesson for our civil servants in future. I would want to say to them without blinking that be smarter now. When you are engaged by any senior civil servants, political appointees, or even the top level of the country, don't jump neck deep into politics of the day, because that's not what the civil service is about. We can't lie, Trevor, that there are some civil servants who got overexcited and they agreed and allowed themselves to be compromised. Some of the things that you saw happening at that time were not things that should have been happening, and many people suffered. And some of those things, it's only that we are civil enough, you don't even want to come talk about them. Even ourselves, we suffered a lot, including, you know, major financial losses. You had accounts of people blocked. You are a businessman and you're running legitimate contracts. You find people are instructed not to pay you. and letters written to the banks by people in, by KRA, and you find a lot of things happening, and that was really very, very, very bad. I think it is important that we say to civil servants, in the future, if you want to retain your job, if you want us to have a good country, please desist. Do your work professionally. Then we'll have a better country. And then lastly is on this question of, you've said, on the subsidies, and I think Atandi is smarter. Even where you come from, there is substantial farming, and you know what happens. Rains, you cannot tell the rains come the day after tomorrow. Yeah, it's the short rain season. Our farmers are ready to plant. The reason why we were buying a packet of unga at 200 plus then is because there was a shortage. Our farmers were not supported to plant and have enough harvest for our people to be food secure. And so when the short rains knocked and they started falling, something had to be done immediately. Yeah. But I want to confirm that it is not in the plan of our government to run our economy and sustain the livelihoods of our people by giving subsidies. We want to empower. We want to empower the population so that people can get to work and earn fairly and equally, so that they're able to put food on their table without having to go to anyone to beg for a subsidy or to be helped. This is what we are taking as the core of our looking forward and how we manage the economy of this country. Yes. So I don't think we need to add much more to that. On the IEBC, I believe that, as we said earlier, a section of the IEBC did a professional job, from the chairperson to the two officials. And I want to confirm in this sitting this morning, Trevor, that I was personally in Bomas during that infamous incident. I was sitting there. And after all that happened, I took myself and I walked up to that podium. And I even went into where the IEBC officials were. And I can confirm to you that these eyes of mine saw a commissioner of IEBC bleeding blood, because he had been hit and clobbered. His feet were bleeding, and he had his trousers turned up, and he was trying to dress his wounds and cover them. It was a shameful act. One senior person punched the Chebukati in the full glare of cameras. And what we are saying is that then when you look at the flip side, and I don't want to relive and repeat what I personally have said, that we don't need to go to the past. But if you looked at what happened on the other side, the compromise of such a revered office as the commissioner's offices, whereby you find people really doing things that are despicable, that are an insult to the history of this country and the future we want to build. Okay. I want to really urge our people, we cannot go that way. We cannot go that way. We will not build a country that way. All right, I have to take a quick break. When we come back, there's something the President said at the United Nations General Assembly.
Trevor, in this show, Governor Wamatangi is known as the father of wisdom. And very rarely do you want to contradict him. But on this statement on IBC at the Tallying Center, I think is not saying the truth. It is not possible or feasible that a senior IBC official was beaten, and it's only his eyes who saw. There's no other.
I was also there.
There was no media. There was no TV. There was no photograph anywhere where a bleeding IBC official was shown to us or to Kenyans.
But in all fairness, there was a scuffle that was on live TV.
To remove that statement from the answer of this show, because that statement is not true. And the policemen were at the Bomas, and I was also at the Bomas, and in fact we were beaten at the Bomas by Kenya Kwanza supporters.
We didn't see pictures of people beaten.
Senator Ledema Olekina was assaulted by the supporters of Kenya Kwanza, and they were not arrested. So I think this issue, it is being politicized because a section of IBC commissioners were supporting the Kenya Kwanza team, and they did everything possible to ensure that their candidate won. There are some, a section of the commissioners who wanted justice to prevail in the process. And these 4 commissioners are now being said to have been aligned to Azimio, and they're being victimized together with a number of staff who did not want to tolerate, you know, the monkey business that was going on at the IBC. I think this is the truth of the matter, that the commissioners led by Chebukati, the 3 commissioners, were always aligned to Kenya Kwanza, and they wanted Kenya Kwanza to win. Now that Kenya Kwanza won, now that they made Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate to win, they must now come down and understand that the commission is not about 3 commissioners. The commission consists of 7 commissioners, and if they want to take a decision, they must call a plenary and let all the commissioners agree. Not Chebukati has a few months to go. So we cannot begin to victimize some of the innocent staff who are working very hard in the commission to realize the process. I think that's the message we are saying, and that message needs to go down, and it needs to be.
Probably, Trevor, just in one parting shot. I think, and I want to throw this to my friend and colleague, Senator Cherargei, and even Atandi himself. Yeah. Now they're in the lawmaking house, and brother Aundo here. When you go back to the house, I think one of the conversations you seriously need to have for posterity is, do we want to continue with that trend whereby the names, the individuals who are going to be sitting to preside, determine how the elections of this country are going to be held in future? Are we following the procedure that is right by allowing political formations to have such a huge say? Because I want to say in hindsight, Trevor, that if you saw some of those actions that were not something you want to talk about, you know, when you talk about integrity of institutions and upholding, you know, what you would call the, you know, the respect of the office that you hold. What you saw is despicable, and we don't want to go into those details. Let's not open that. But this gentleman must rethink how people will enter that office. Because if we continue that way, we are going to have a very, very big problem going into the future. It is unimaginable, Trevor, that you would have a scenario whereby you have one side of the commission there and another side there, and both saying different things, and some trying to play to a certain gallery. And then lastly, let me also, because it's our first show this season, let me put this card on the table of my brother here and here. And when they retreat, it is important for them to make a determination as a coalition, whether they will go back to the electorate and tell them that they don't believe that they earned the 6 million votes that they got. If the answer is in the affirmative, that they think that the 6 million plus votes that they got, 6.9 million votes, if they think those votes were faked for them, then they can as well start from there. But, you know, coming to stand here on this podium saying that, oh, this election was never won, it was computer generated, then they will first have to destroy their own pedestal that they stand on, that they earned 6.9 million fake votes. You know, but you know, you cannot continue to propagate that and saying we think we won because we had this number of votes, and you're saying that the election itself was a fake. Okay. So their votes must have been fake. All right. Yeah.
I have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more in just a bit. Let's take that break and also keep your feedback coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. We're back in just a bit. There's something the president talked about on debt relief during the United Nations General Assembly speech yesterday. We'll talk about that also shortly.